Now, on Skype right now, we have Rafer Johnson, who's an LGBT advocate. And Rafer, tell us, why is this issue so important right now?
The timing is perfect because we look at LGBT couples becoming more visible, LGBT individuals becoming more visible and showing up in our lives and saying we want to be treated as equally as everyone else. More parents, more families are stepping forward and saying we support them. So because of that support, the timing is right now. And it's just simply about doing the right thing, period.
Now, where do you think the Supreme Court's going to go with this? I know both issues on both sides say that now is the time and that the Supreme Court hasn't heard issues like this so far. Where do you think they're going to go?
You know, the Supreme Court is so difficult to predict. However, what I love about this argument is that it's that the arguments on the conservative side actually support us, in my view, because it is about rights of individuals to live their lives the way they choose. For the same reason that they're arguing, for example, the rights against the government coming into their lives around gun laws, it's the same exact reason that that it argues for us in that sense for me.
Understood. Now, I know that you are an advocate with other members of the community, and what are other community members saying? Are they protesting? Are they contacting their members of Congress? Because obviously right now what the Supreme Court is doing is interpreting the law, but what do you see other LGBT couples and people in the community doing to hopefully get pressure to make something happen different for LGBT couples?
Absolutely. If you look at many of the profiles on Facebook, for example, you will see the equal sign in red. I chose not to do that because I speak to so many people and they want to see, you know, my face there to identify who I am. But I definitely support that. In addition to, we are writing Congress. We are lobbying not only Congress, but also our families. We're actually writing to our families and saying, we need you to support. I actually asked my family and my in-laws to commit to pledge their support, to speak to their lawmakers as well, to give us that support. So we're doing that tonight. There's a watch party here in Atlanta, et cetera. So
understood. Well, we thank you so much for joining us. We'll be looking to see what the justices are going to go and where they'll go in this debate. Thank you so much, Rafer. Now, on the phone, we have someone who's on the complete other side of the debate who says that this is really not something that the Supreme Court needs to take up. Are you with us?
Yes, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we're joined from Kirk Jaros from Chicago. And Kirk, tell us, why do you think the Supreme Court doesn't need to deal with the same-sex marriage issue right now?
Well, as some of the Supreme Court justices kind of hinted at today, they could see this as a broad, sweeping claim that the country wouldn't quite be ready for, because it would put a, it would make national regulation upon what the states can and cannot do, and they're probably afraid that it's going to impinge upon the religious freedom of many people.
Gotcha. And I want to understand, Rafer, you're still with us, yes?
I'm sorry, what was that?
We do have another individual here who is on the other side of the debate. Rafer, I just wanted to make sure you were with us. But Kurt, I wanted to ask you, you said now is not the time. Why is now not the time as opposed to some other time? What makes now so critical, not being the time for this to happen?
Sure. So the other side of the debate does think now is the time. I'm happy to say now is the time to decide on this issue. The traditional marriage side says that homosexual people who have homosexual attraction don't have rights to marry. When we're dealing with the question of rights, we often point to Thomas Jefferson, who said that the Creator gave us these rights. So it's the burden of proof is upon the pro-homosexual marriage side to prove that God has indeed given people these rights.
Rafer, did you have any feedback? Is it going to be, is it indeed a right, an issue where it's, that the rights aren't there or shouldn't be granted?
Yeah, that's right. I don't think those rights are actually there. Now, the gentleman on Skype there has said that people have a right to do what they want. Actually, I wouldn't say that's true. Currently, the government prohibits against the rights to do certain things. And in fact, in this country, that used to be something, although not anymore, that used to be prohibited. So
Understood.
We can see over the last 30, 40 years a lot of cultural shift.
That there has been a change.
Changes.
Exactly. Let me get 10 seconds. Rafer, if you want to wrap it up, what is your response to that real quick?
It's interesting when I hear about, we invoke God into this argument. And it's interesting, if we look at the marriage in the Bible, many people wouldn't do that. 13-year-olds getting married, for men having concubines, etc. So if you're going to interpret it, let's interpret it fully. We're talking about a Christian version of Sharia. We're not going to that. That's not who we are in the United States. We're talking about treating people equally.
Well, the debate will continue. Thank you both, Kirk and Rafer, for joining us for this debate. And remember, the justices will meet this week, and the final opinion will be published sometime this summer.